Yes, Madam Speaker. Speaking to the substitute.
Delegate Carroll Foy, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. As Abigail Adams wrote to her husband, John Adams.
Madam Speaker, point of order.
Delegate,
I
Delegate
am
from
unable
Alexander,
to hear the
Delegate.
delegate if the House could come to order.
The House will come to order. Delegate Carroll Foy, you have the floor.
Thank you. As Abigail Adams wrote to her husband, John Adams, the nation's second president and member of the Continental Congress, I desire you would remember the ladies and be more generous and favorable to them than your ancestors. If particular care and attention is not paid to the ladies, we are determined to foment a rebellion and will not hold ourselves bound by any laws in which we have no voice or representation. Abigail Adams' letter was a private first step in the fight for women's equality. As we all know, John Adams disregarded her plea, and the founders intentionally kept women out of our founding documents. And over 200 years later, here we are, asking to intentionally be put in. Virginia has long failed to recognize that all citizens are entitled to equality under the law. Virginia fought against women's right to vote up to 32 years after it has been ratified in the Constitution. Virginia fought against desegregation and led the charge with massive resistance and closed the doors to schools instead of having white children suffer to be educated with blacks. And we all remember Loving v. Virginia, where Virginia fought vehemently against interracial marriage. And of course, there's the Virginia Military Institute decision, where Virginia spent millions of dollars and appealed all the way to the Supreme Court to keep women out of the all-male college. And it was Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg's speech when she said, and I am paraphrasing, that women can do all things if given the opportunity, and separate is not equal, and women should not be relegated to second-class citizenship and forced to attend a lesser school. That inspired me to apply, be admitted, and enroll in Virginia Military Institute, and to graduate from one of the top military colleges in this country. And it's Virginia again on the battleground of equality. And I don't know about you, but I think that it's right on time for Virginia to finally be on the right side of history. Now, women are making progress. We can't deny that. But I reject the contention that just because some people here are of privilege and don't have to suffer from sex discrimination or unequal pay for equal work, that an equal rights amendment is not needed. Women across the Commonwealth and country are demanding our equality without an apology. We have been marginalized long enough. We will no longer suffer in silence as we are discriminated against. We will not stand by while being paid less. We won't keep quiet about violence perpetrated against women with impunity. We are here, and we will be heard. As Shirley Chisholm, the first black woman to serve in Congress, stated, the Equal Rights Amendment will provide a legal basis for attack on the most subtle, most pervasive, and most institutionalized form of prejudice that exists. Discrimination against women solely on the basis of their sex is so widespread that it seems to many persons normal, natural, and right. The time is now for this body to go on record as supporting women's rights as human beings equal to men to finally be enshrined into the United States Constitution. Equality must apply to your daughters as well as your sons. 160 million women and girls across this country are waiting and will forever be changed by what happens in this body here today. Very rarely, what we do here reverberates across the country. Very rarely, the votes we take matter to people around the nation and the world. But I want to be unequivocally clear that this is a vote of a lifetime. Never again will you be able to affect the United States Constitution and solidify and enshrine women's equality into our founding document. Your name will forever be written and remembered. The question is, what side of history do you want to fall on? So in closing, I say this. The world is watching. Your mother, your sisters, your daughters. And I want to be unequivocally clear that there is only one way to spell equality, and that is simply E-R-A. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Madam Speaker, point of order.
Delegate from Caroline, Delegate Orrock.
Madam Speaker, I'd rise to a point of order under Rule 53.
Delegate Orrock, you have the floor.
Madam Speaker, Rule 53 says the Speaker will preserve order and decorum in the chamber at all times. And I would suggest that we have had a violation of that.
Delegate Orrock, so heard.
Madam Speaker, today is a historic day. Women and men around the country have been working to achieve ratification of the Equal Rights Amendment for decades. Through their hard work and dedication, today they will likely cross the threshold of 38 states. And for that, they are to be commended. We've heard passionate speeches on the floor today. I'd like to comment on the 2019 Christopher Newport poll. They had 901 registered voters throughout the Commonwealth that were surveyed. That concluded that 80% of Virginians wanted the ratification of the ERA. While we disagree about the implications of the ERA, we can all appreciate the monumental amount of work that has gone into this effort. I wish I could say that this dedication and hard work has not all been for nothing, but sadly I cannot. When Congress sent this amendment to the states in 1972, it passed with the requisite 2/3 majority in the House and Senate. Congress set a time limit of 7 years for this amendment to be ratified. Those 7 years came and went in 1979. Congress attempted to extend the deadline by another 3 years, but without the 2/3 majority of the original vote. That deadline came and went in 1982. The Supreme Court addressed this in the case of the National Organization of Women versus Idaho, accepting the judgment of the federal government at the time that the amendment had failed, and lawsuits regarding the ERA were moot. Even liberal Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg said that the amendments had failed and must begin again. Justice Ginsburg told Georgetown Law School in 2019, I was a proponent of the Equal Rights Amendment. I hope someday it will be put back in the political hopper and we'll be starting over again, collecting the necessary states to ratify it. Those were the words of Justice Ginsburg. Just last week, the Justice Department issued an opinion noting that the amendment had failed. As such, it would take court action to overturn this state of affairs, and the Supreme Court has already spoken. To the women of this body and the women of Virginia, especially the young women who have given so much to this effort, I say this. Today, a woman, a very capable woman, is our speaker. She holds the gavel in this chamber. Another amazing woman leads our majority party. Another amazing woman leads our minority party. We have a new clerk who is a very accomplished woman. Women can accomplish great things. Women have accomplished great things. Look at the women in this body. Look at the women that lead our businesses and our states and our local government. Look at the women that are wonderful moms. I look forward to the day when a new Equal Rights Amendment is passed by Congress and sent to the states. An amendment that will guarantee the rights of all Americans to be treated as equals by their government in all respects. An amendment that extends the protection of the law to females and males regardless of their age. An amendment that protects the unborn. On that day, I hope that I or my successors will be able to cast a vote in favor of that. And I see that enshrined in the Constitution. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 59, nays 41, abstentions 0.
Ayes 59, nays 41, abstentions 0. For the women of Virginia and the women of America, the resolution has finally passed.